Feedback is generally understood as any information given to students about their performance that guides future behavior and learning. It tells students what they are or are not understanding, where their performance is going well or poorly, and how they should direct their subsequent efforts. In this way, feedback is essential to students' learning and growth. As you all are aware, there are many ways to give feedback, such as written feedback provided directly on student work, audio and or visual remarks on individual or group assignments, or informal check-ins. Similar to formative and summative assessment, feedback can also be formative or summative. Feedback is formative if it is ongoing, as students are subsequently given additional opportunities to incorporate the feedback into their work. Summative feedback is provided at the end of a learning progression and serves to provide students with an overall assessment of their learning. Regardless of how you provide feedback, whether it's formative or summative, it's important it consists of certain key characteristics to ensure its efficacy. Let's look at some tips that can lead to positive, constructive feedback that students will value. First, effective feedback is timely. Timely feedback can look differently depending on the nature and complexity of the assignment. As such, it is important to time our feedback in an effective but scalable way. That is, give students enough time to engage with the feedback before they are tasked with any subsequently related work where that feedback might be incorporated. For example, if an assignment is due on Thursday and another related assignment is due on Sunday, it would be wise to provide feedback by Friday. This gives students enough time to process feedback that they may need to incorporate into the next assignment. Otherwise, it might be too late. Research suggests that while immediate feedback is typically desirable, reasonably delayed feedback provides students with more time to process the information and are thus more likely to incorporate it. The provision of effective feedback does take into account its tone. You want to be balanced and sensitive in the feedback you provide. This is especially important due to the fact that much of feedback is corrective in nature. But comments such as a couple of question marks or wrong can desensitize students to the feedback and also increase their anxiety around the assignment. For example, instead of saying incomplete, framing the comment as nice job addressing Y. However, the assignment also asked for X, which is not present, illustrates a more supportive tone while still offering constructive feedback. Effective feedback is also targeted in nature. Your feedback should be specific, actionable, and concise. Too much feedback can be overwhelming, and overarching comments such as good or vague can be difficult for students to understand what part of their assignment was good or vague. Use feedback to direct students' attention to a key area they can develop. For example, if you'd like a student to expand their conclusion of a written assignment, instead of circling the whole portion and writing develop, a more targeted piece of feedback would read, how was this conclusion reached? Think about the point made on page X and work that into the final analysis. Moreover, you can also incorporate the lessons we learned in last week's rubric module to provide clear, targeted feedback for students. Effective feedback also has the characteristic of clear communication. To this point, you are creating a positive and respectful learning climate where feedback is normalized and valued. Be open and clear with students by communicating the expected turnaround for assignments and let them know if there are any delays. Delays happen, but it is important for students to know when to expect their assignments back, particularly if they are building up to a larger project. For example, if students are asked to complete a large summative assignment at the end of the semester, it's very helpful to map out an expected timeline of assignments and feedback that will be incorporated into the summative assessment. Or, if part of your class involves weekly discussion posts, saying at the beginning of the semester that you will respond to discussion posts within 24 to 48 hours is helpful in setting clear expectations. And again, early, clear communication of any delays or due date changes are extremely helpful and important in fostering a constructive learning environment that's most conducive to student growth.